say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level morality.
I get paid to science?
Two science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
And we're back, but nobody else is in here yet.
What's going on? Why is nobody else?
Where's,
Did we miss the cue?
Too much fun?
Yeah.
and Brainstorm featuring David and Angela.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going,
It's
everybody?
become the David and Angela show.
David and 5 empty chairs.
Yeah. I can just like move from chair to chair and pretend to be all of you.
Exactly. Yes.
Why didn't somebody
perfect.
yell at us?
I thought you were coming.
Oh, did you?
I'll let you know when I come.
It's okay. There was no dead air. There was no dead air. I talked
Phrasing.
And I'm glad Justin has filled Gumby's chair so he can sit on the sidelines now.
Justin, now you have to say something like extremely offensive.
Christ.
All right. So to those listening
that was offensive
live,
enough.
or to our patrons, welcome back. For those listening weekly, welcome to the Shift to Reason Radio, the Brainstorm product that focuses on science, outreach, and education, and maybe a little bit of silliness.
It's us. It's probably a whole lot of silliness.
This episode is brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up for your free trial membership and free audiobook at audibletrial.com/brainstorm. So we're going to do some woo. Yeah, we'll do the woo report.
I'm not a scientist, but if I can tell you your science sucks, then your science really sucks.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
Does this make any sense, Gumby?
What?
Does this make any sense?
Does this make any sense?
Does it?
What?
Your news story.
Oh, my story? No, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Didn't you read it?
Yes, I did.
All right. So apparently there's been a wave of mysterious deaths that have been continuing to plague practitioners in the field of holistic medicine, including chiropractors, herbalists, and other alternative healers.
Yeah, they're being...
I think they've been subscribing to their own products.
They're being killed off by the big pharmas.
Yeah.
What?
Air quotes, big
Yeah.
fire.
So this story, which appeared in Natural News, so it's legit.
Legit. Totally legit.
The most legit.
Yes.
It's about, just a sec, sorry, Dr. Jeff Bradstreet. He,
That's a good name.
he was actually a researcher that did a bunch of research, air quotes, about a compound, GC-MAF. So it's a globulin component, microphage activating factor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a GC protein that, after it combines with vitamin D in the body, has potential to be a universal cure for cancer. Also,
really? That's fantastic.
Also, it's capable of treating and reversing autism, HIV, liver and kidney disease, diabetes, and death.
Well, that's a true miracle
I
drug.
just threw in death because if you're making absurd claims, you might as well make them good.
Because it's on the list. I'm sure I see it there.
Just a general cure for death.
That's right. All things that kill you
and with
cured.
further research, it could have cured red hair. So anyway, yeah. So this guy died, and there's huge conspiracy theory that he was killed by Big Pharma. So he was found dead in a river from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
No, it was to the chest, according to what
Was
I
it?
looked.
Yeah.
Was it chest or chest?
See, that's the
Sorry.
one. That's the one thing that struck me as weird because I looked it up. Actually, I went to his Wikipedia page too, and yeah, it says that he had a shot to the chest, but it was ruled a suicide. And I'm like, that is kind of weird because normally you don't do it to the chest, but
Yeah, well, this
I guess
guy
it depends
seems
on
normal.
the type of gun you're using. Like
Yeah.
you could,
yeah, it's not like I'm an expert on suicide.
yeah. I don't know.
It happened supposedly like right after the FDA raided his office in connection
Does
with
the
an investigation.
FDA raid places?
Yeah, it was an investigation in connection to the GC-MAF treatments.
But do
Yeah,
they
but I don't-
raid
I
or
don't
is it just
think-
an investigation? Because
Yeah. I don't think the FDA raids people.
Sure, they do.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah,
It's the Food and Drug Administration.
Yeah.
It's not
it's one of
the DEA.
It's
They're
just
not
as
a
big as the
police
DEA.
service. They're not a police service in any sense.
Well, no, they don't have guns. Their raid is like
But what-
surprise inspections.
Well,
But
surprise inspections, that's
No,
a
but when they
different
show
term.
up, it's just like a raid. They'll have cops with them, and you're
Okay.
not allowed to do anything. You can't touch your files or anything because they can check all of your invoices, seeing where everything's coming in, making sure it's all been passed through
Okay. All
customs
right.
and stuff like that. So they could have the DEA with them. They could have.
I feel like we need to
border-
fact check that.
they
But
could have border people
okay,
with them
that
and
makes
stuff
more
like that.
sense if you have like law enforcement with you
Yeah.
for specific things.
Oh, I just fucked it up.
Yeah, so the claim is that there's this stuff called Nagalese. It's been given to us through vaccines and other nefarious or possibly non-nefarious things that basically is what's causing people to have cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And it's all a big giant conspiracy. So
For sure.
What's Nagalese?
that I didn't find out. It's something that has the potential to bond differently with vitamins. I don't understand this shit. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Sounds like something you'd be like you accidentally put into food.
Yeah.
Nagalese or something. I don't know. They're just,
Like something that shouldn't be in food, but you just accidentally dropped it in.
Isn't
Yeah.
that the name of the actress in like The Good Wife?
maybe like
Juliana Nagalese.
yeah,
Maybe.
Oh my God, she causes cancer.
I knew it.
I feel bad for her.
That's an unfortunate name, Nagalese. Like that has nagging in it.
Nagalese interferes with an
Yeah.
important protein in the body that kills cancer cells.
Okay.
See this is what I don't get is like they always say like kills cancer, this kills cancer, that kills cancer. Cancer is cells growing uncontrollably. Just
Yeah, caused by mutation, right?
yeah, caused by mutation. It's just
And there's like 100 or more different ways
Yeah.
of how that shit happens.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's why we don't have a cure for
That's
it yet.
why there's
So,
no
yeah.
such thing as a universal cure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what ends up happening is when the GC protein cannot be converted to MCGAF, the entire immune system is compromised. And that's what lets cancer, spread through you because all cancer really cares about the immune system. Like almost every cancer doesn't give a fuck about the immune system.
No, that's right. It's
You can be healthy as fuck and still get cancer.
Yeah. You're not immune to cancer. Your immune system has no way itself of dealing with it.
No.
If it did, cancer wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a thing.
It would only be a problem for the immunosuppressed.
Right.
And so, were there any law enforcement involved in investigating if this was something other than a suicide?
No,
or
it was ruled a suicide.
like so. There was no suspicion of anything else.
No, it's just his followers and family think it's
It's a conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because a brilliant doctor like him couldn't have possibly been a quack that killed himself.
Well, no. Fuck no.
I think it was somebody doing research for big alt medicine often.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe he realized.
don't feed the conspiracy trolls. Don't feed the conspiracy trolls.
Exactly.
It was definitely the big pharmas.
The big alt pharmas.
Big
All
old farmers.
promise.
I'm getting so tired of
He
these.
is found in water.
Oh, it
Right.
was the big homeopaths.
Yeah.
That's what they must
No.
have put like
There's no such thing
single
as
tiny
big
drop of
homeopaths. It'd be small amounts of homeopaths
Right.
diluted.
Right. So the shorter homeopathic midgets are the one in charge. So instead of the tallest, it's the smallest.
That's how it works.
All right. So you had a story.
Yeah. It's just as good of a
I totally
conspiracy
had
as
a
anything
story.
else.
I had a story. So apparently Big Pharma is fucking evil these days because
Just these days?
just these days. The best thing that I got out of this was that I got to see Lloyd Robertson again.
That's true. That was a decent clip with Lloyd Robertson.
He hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah.
And these folks are reposting the shit out of a video that has to be years old.
Yeah.
And it's been shared like 20,000 times.
Recently.
Yeah. And it's Avis Favreau is like looking into this drug called DCA that was reportedly proven to reduce tumors in rats and preliminary human testing. But they can't get a big pharmaceutical company to sponsor the next stage of research that they have to do in order to make it wide release for people so that it can actually start killing cancer. So they're immediately blaming Big Pharma because
obviously it must be legit.
Absolutely. It has to be legit because Lloyd Robertson said so, right? But then, so Snopes did an article as well, and it was updated a few days ago where, what's true is that preliminary research indicated that this DCA, which is short for dichloroacetate, might show promise for treating some forms of cancer. What's false is that it's not a proven quote-unquote cure for cancer, nor is it being spurned by the pharmaceutical companies because it's not patentable. People just jump on this bus, and it's just so fucking frustrating.
But isn't this a common thing? Like they'll say science. Well, I think we did a podcast with this where they'll say, "Oh, this is showing some promise. We found the cure for everything," and it's like, no,
Right.
That's not what we said.
Yeah.
That's not what we said at all. We just said this looks promising.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And the thing is also I always find myself in the dilemma of, well, the term big pharma, like you can easily just dismiss it like, oh, there's no such thing as big pharma. Now that there's a little bit of truth to there are some pharmaceutical companies who legitimately do bad shit.
Well, yeah,
So
I mean, I think
And
this
much-
is where
so-
the problem with all conspiracies
Yeah.
are, is that there's just that little tiny grain
Yeah.
of truth that gives it,
So you have a couple of pharmaceutical developers who do some bad shit, and that then legitimizes people like this to, for their conspiracy. See, this guy and this guy, they try to fuck over people, and so we assume that everybody in the pharmaceutical business is trying to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some truth. So we may attack Big Pharma. There are some legitimately horrible bastards who produce certain drugs, and we've seen this in the news recently,
Yeah,
with
that's
the
right.
EpiPen and with what's the other medication, that
AIDS.
Yeah,
the
the
Pharma
AIDS,
bro.
Yeah. So you have people who legitimately are evil Big Pharma people.
Yep.
But that does not, you can't generalize that because you have a couple of people who do this, that's the agenda of the whole industry. Because the whole industry, it's not one collective body. It's not
That's
like
right.
you have one head honcho sitting in some office somewhere deciding everything for every single pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
And so, and that's kind of what this kind of conspiracy, is based on. We attack that. We assume that one guy is controlling all the research and not allowing anything else to come in.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy is blocking everything that could potentially be a cure.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the John Oliver bit on the pharmaceutical practices where they in minuscule amounts, they kind of bribe doctors to prescribe their product. And Bad Pharma, the book by Ben Goldacre, covers this pretty in depth, where there's these really shitty practices that pharmaceutical companies do.
Marketing.
Yeah, and it's because of marketing and whatnot, and to an extent that demonstrates that there's a serious issue within the industry, right? But
well, yes and no.
Things like this are it's almost like they take it too far. Like they go, okay, well, yeah, there's this issue in the industry that says we want you to prescribe our drug. We don't want to test it as much as we could possibly test it, or it's not really doing anything different than another drug. But so there must be this big pharma that controls all of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's taking this problem that's a real problem in the industry, and they blow it up into this fucking huge deal so that it seems so like monolithic that it can't change and that it's in control of everything.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Pharma companies being competitive is what makes them able to grow and actually gives them reason to actually try to find solutions.
Right, but there are practices in place that aren't in the best interests of the patients, which is where the issue lies.
I think that's...
Well, the issue there lies with the doctor, not the pharma company.
It lies
For
with
the most
both.
part. Yeah.
There's also
If the efficacy isn't any different between medicine A and medicine B, and the pharma company is like, hey, you should use this one because we want
Because
you to
we
use
make
it.
money and they don't.
Yeah.
I still find it
if it's got the
funny
same
because, like,
efficacy, then
you look at
there's no difference.
the guy that discovered the cure for polio. He just did it. It's like, this cures this terrible thing.
Here you go.
That
Yeah.
just would not fly now.
No, that's right.
Yeah, it's such a different setup now.
But there are issues, and there are people who are trying to address those issues in legislation and in the way that the industry runs and in government. And
I'd rather see all that stuff happen in the front, like where it's obvious, than in the back rooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at least you know what you're dealing with.
Because I've been in a doctor's office where a sales rep for a pharmaceutical company came in and they were talking about how this doctor was supposed to prescribe their brand of the drug to cure a certain thing. And so that is already a shady thing where the doctor gets a commission on how many people he prescribes this drug to. So that's a bad practice all around. If the doctor is getting a commission for prescribing a certain drug from a certain company,
right,
and he's getting paid by that specific
that's more
company.
American than
yes,
than
that's more
yeah,
American
it's
than
more
Canadian.
American than Canadian, and this was not in Canada, like where I was in a doctor's office in a different country. And so it is
also
a
happens
legitimate
here,
problem.
though. I mean, they get samples, they get presents, they
still do get those incentives.
They still get those incentives, yeah. And I mean, also
it's just
people
not monetary.
Because of this study that was done many years ago, there's clinics that actually prescribe DCA, even though it's hasn't gone through, and they that's scary.
That's fucked up.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has had to step in and shut down the websites that are selling it illegally.
And if we accept this practice as legitimate, then who's to say that some homeopathic company couldn't come in and offer a doctor, look, we'll give you this much of a commission to prescribe this thing, even if the person doesn't really have an ailment, but just prescribe it to them and we'll give you a commission. So I think there's an inherent problem in allowing doctors to take money from pharmaceutical companies. Yeah. And this is, again, not that much of a problem in Canada, but it is in other countries where if a doctor is allowed to take money from any pharmaceutical company or quote-unquote pharmaceutical company, like homeopathic company, whatever, it can have pretty negative effects on the treatment of patients.
Doctors can already prescribe homeopathic garbage. The fact that they can do that is a problem.
But and it adds to the problem where if they can accept payment for doing it, like they get additional payment other than just from the patients. Yeah. They actually get an incentive, like a commission.
A kickback, as it were.
Yeah.
And that should just be illegal across the board.
That's the American dream, though.
Yeah, you don't get commissions for prescribing a certain thing over another.
Freedom.
You use your medical knowledge to prescribe the right thing, not your wallet screaming at you like
In the States, it's no different than judges getting kickbacks for putting people into prisons that they don't belong in. There's no difference.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I mean, none of that should be legal.
It comes
but
down.
This
it
is
comes
about
down
pharmaceutical
to
companies.
bureaucracy and allowable, acceptable practice, which is all bullshit.
Speaking of medical knowledge, however, what else do we need to know about this particular drug?
That's basically it. I mean, it's just another example of, in preliminary studies, this drug was shown to have a positive benefit, and they blame it on big pharma, but it's bigger than that because, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a panacea for all cancers. I mean, and it hasn't been proven to be effective in cancers in all different situations. So, I mean, there's still research that needs to be done.
Did it mention whether or not it was going forward into clinical trials in some way for some of these cancers that it showed effectiveness in?
Well, as recently as July 16, it has still not lived up to the potential ascribed to it several years ago.
Okay.
So it's
that was
not
quite a while ago, too, that it was originally.
Yeah. So and it was 2007 that it was that University of Alberta study happened. And this is several years since now. That's a long time.
So basically that's like 1,000 years in technological thinking.
Exactly.
Talking about cancer treatments, have you guys done any reading or heard anything about immunotherapy?
No.
That's
not
actually something that looks
amount.
pretty promising, where they take if you have a tumor or a tumorous growth or a certain type of cancer, they'll take samples of it, get a sample of the cancer itself, and alter your white blood cells so it specifically targets a surface protein or something in that cancer, and it actually breaks it down.
Interesting.
Which actually sounds legit, right? So that's pretty interesting stuff that's going on right now.
Sounds like something that
medical research would be doing.
Medical research should be working on.
Exactly. It sounds good, man.
All right, so we're going to go into our skeptical topics, common skeptical topics. And we're going to talk about acupuncture.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bullshit, next.
Again.
Sorry. I don't think anybody's done the bullshit next thing for a while. So.
No, it's been a while. Since Raz left, it's not as common. It doesn't work. Next. It's bullshit. Next.
Suddenly our podcast becomes 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
Right.
Bullshit. Next.
So
bullshit.
we have about 9 bullshit topics for you, and that's our podcast.
See you in 20 minutes.
It's going to be dead air for now.
So, how much does everybody know about acupuncture? Because there's a few different kinds.
I knew. I read the article. I knew a little bit about this stuff, but
there's actually a surprising number of different types.
I mean, I've seen video of them where they do the needle and then they light something on, almost like they light incense. They turn you into a pincushion in it. They turn you into a human incense candle. That's what they do.
From the peanut gallery, I don't know a lot about acupuncture, but I know acupuncturists, and they're a bunch of pricks.
I was going to make a little pricks
Okay,
joke.
No more from the peanut gallery. I've been giving Gumby shit over puns all night. So we got...
Hey, you shouldn't punish Justin for my puns.
Okay. I'll kill you. That's...
Kill you, man.
Fucking puns. All right. So where was I going?
Acupuncture.
There's acupuncture, and they do it differently with different needles, different techniques, and different insertion points.
And there's also electrical, there's hot and cold.
Yep. There's magnetic.
Sure.
There's some with low energy laser beams.
Sure. Yeah. How about sharks? Are they little sharks with freaking laser beams?
Sharks. I'm sure. I'm sure it's as legit.
Anything you could think of that you think might sound legit to some other wacko,
they've done it.
There's a type of acupuncture for
Pretty
that.
much if they can stick it into your body, they will.
Yeah.
Including coffee.
Which is sometimes not as comfortable.
Now, talking about acupuncture, when they're going for those certain little spots, they'd have to be pretty accurate, wouldn't they?
Oh, shut his mic off. Shut his mic off.
Oh, man.
We're not going to make
so
it through
for the
this
next
article at all.
podcast, we'll only need 4 mics.
Yeah.
Remember that, David.
That's right. So a lot of people tend to think that it's an ancient Chinese practice, but some forms of acupuncture are as recent as 1957.
Yes, because I think the electrical one was the ancient one.
Yes, that was the most ancient one.
Or the very, very, very slim titanium needles were from the early Ming Dynasty.
You're a Ming Dynasty.
That never gets old.
Well, I'm glad you were amused by.
I think we have yet to determine what kind of insult that is. Like, it's not a proper, refutation of what he is saying.
That's true. That is true. It's not an argument.
You're calling him the Ming Dynasty. You're a brutal,
communist dictatorship.
No, it wasn't communist.
God, I wasn't communist.
It was, brutal, totalitarian dictatorship. It's just feeding his ego more. Yay.
He probably took it as a compliment.
Can we get back on point, please? And that was not a pun. Not a pun.
Gumby tried to high five Renee, and Renee
Refused.
rejected it.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking that one.
Man, I was on pins and needles there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, can we get
I
through
just
this?
really want to kill you now.
Don't stab me, bro.
The earliest manuscripts of Chinese medicine date from the 2nd century BCE, so not 4,000 years. They make no mention of acupuncture, even. The tomb of a Chinese prince dating from the 2nd century BCE contained a set of 4 gold and 5 silver needles, but it is mere speculation that the needles were designed for acupuncture.
They could have been for heroin.
There are stone needles that have been found to be 5,000 years old, but which
is older.
They were in a tomb in Mongolia, but there's no evidence as to what those needles were for. Ancient cultures around the world have used needles on humans for such things as tattooing, scarifying, burning, cauterizing, lancing, piercing, and bloodletting.
It's not like the Chinese came up with the written language or anything a long, long time ago and have kept records for millennia or anything. So
the best that it seems that I could find was that this, according to Skeptic, Skeptics Dictionary, skepdic.com. They didn't really think that through, eh?
Or maybe he did.
Yeah, I was exactly. Yeah. Maybe they did.
Maybe they did.
It's probably sitting there. This is awesome. Look at.
Every time somebody says this,
they're not going to take us seriously.
They're going to remember us.
Yeah. So
can we get to the point?
You're at point.
We already went to the point, and then we're just going to go a little deeper.
Oh, good.
We already said it was bullshit, and now we're going to...
Right.
I'm not trying to get under your skin.
We don't have much time. Do you have a lot of more puns to go?
I can keep going.
This is getting very painful.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody
So
just
the
start
modern
reading.
incarnation is thought to have originated with Willem ten Ringe, a Dutch physician. I don't know how to say that name.
I think
Not
you,
a Chinese
I think you
physician.
missaid Jenny McCarthy.
No. Because this person lived in 1647 to 1700.
Just
She
blame Jenny
ages
McCarthy.
really, really well.
Yeah.
Can we just blame her anyway?
I've got some materials from skeptic.com. They were kind enough to give us some of their stuff because I told them it was supposed to be educational.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're supposed to go home.
Yeah. So the theory of acupuncture says there is a vitalistic energy called qi. I thought it was pronounced chi, but
Me too.
I think
But
it's still pronounced chi, but there is some
It's a Q?
There's some variations on spellings, I think, is
Oh,
how
okay.
that comes from.
so I'm going to say chi. So if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me.
But there is an energy called Kai as well. But I think that's a little different.
You think that's different?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So chi, I was going to say kai. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Chi flows through mythical meridians. Diseases caused by blockages of chi. And the flow of chi can be restored by inserting needles at acupoints. Chi, meridians, and acupoints are mythical and have never been shown to exist. Yes. So there's a great video by Dr. Harriet Hall on the James Randi Foundation YouTube channel.
Oh.
That really goes through this in depth and covers it in about 30 points or 30 minutes without the puns and the mispronunciation.
So in other words, it's done correctly.
So, yeah. So if you want to check out, also skeptic.com has a great section on CAM, and they have a good section on acupuncture that if somebody wants some real information, then they can do that.
Yes, QI is chi.
QI is chi?
And Kai, what I thought was Kai is Ki, which is the instantaneous release of energy during like katas with a yell and stuff.
So that's a different thing.
That's the sound that you make when you hit somebody.
So that's a different thing. Good.
Okay.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/brainstorm podcast gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off.
Hello, I'm Senator Bernie Sanders. I know you're all disappointed that I didn't get the Democratic Party nomination. I mean, can you imagine me debating Trump? He wouldn't have an iceberg's chance in hell of winning the presidency. Anyway, I don't want you to give up hope, though, because the revolution continues with the Bi-Skeptical podcast. Every 2 weeks, 2 bisexual atheists, Trav Mamone from the By Any Means podcast and Morgan Stringer from No Religion Required, get together to discuss politics, religion, and current events from a skeptical point of view. If you're still feeling the burn, you can find the Bi Skeptical podcast on Spreaker, iTunes, and Stitcher. Because no matter what happens in November, the revolution will always be bigger than Donald Trump's hands.
All right, so let's do a logical fallacy.
Your logical fallacy.
We did. That hurts, man. It really hurts.
Your face is a logical fallacy.
That was argument from ignorance.
Your dad.
Your mom.
Your
shit.
grandma says hi.
I don't know what you do after that.
It's not getting late.
Yeah.
It's not getting
No.
late at all. Suppressed correlative? Correlative? Correlative?
Correlative.
See, I thought
Correlative.
so. But I was thinking...
Words.
No, but that doesn't...
Use your words.
It is
Yeah.
correlated.
It's
Okay.
not like this is a podcast where we're supposed to say words.
You're a podcast. So a suppressed correlative is the fallacy where a type of argument that tries to redefine a correlative, one of two mutually exclusive options, so that one alternative encompasses the other, making it impossible. An example of this, well, just from the wiki page, they go, all things are either X or not X. So then the next person says, I define X in a way that all things you claim are not X are included within X. So to be more specific.
I was thinking,
That did not help, eh?
I'm like, this is like an algebra class, and I'm lost.
Was that supposed to be the explanation? Because
that didn't help?
Yeah, didn't help.
No.
No, we won't let
Okay,
him finish.
so
the
here's okay, so person one, things are either mysterious or not mysterious. Exactly when an earthquake will strike is still a mystery, but how blood circulates in the body is not. Person two, everything is mysterious. There are still things to be learned about how blood circulates. So there's clearly a miscommunication there, or an error in reasoning. So regardless of whether or not person two's statement about blood circulation is true, i.e., there are still things to be learned about it, the redefinition of the word mysterious has been changed so that it's so broad that it eliminates any difference between tracking earthquakes and learning about blood circulation.
Right.
So obviously we know more about the way blood circulates than we know about predicting earthquakes. Although they're getting pretty good at that too.
Yes.
You look like you're going to say something.
He's struggling for a pun.
He's looking
trying
for
really
a
I
pun.
never have to struggle.
He's looking for a pun. So, in my notes here, I have that Alexander Bain is the one who issued this example, and he says that if we hold the origin of the universe is equally mysterious as against simple equations such as 3 times 4 equals 12, it is unimaginable what kind of concepts could be described as non-mysterious.
Did we fact check that 3 times 4?
5 times.
Good. Just making sure.
I'm confused by the comparison, but
Well,
okay.
Well, the point is,
basically
Well,
it boils.
it's like a false correlation.
Well, it boils down to kind of a very broad definition of a word to the point where it kind of loses its meaning inside the argument that you're using it for.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the word mysterious in these two arguments completely loses any kind of validity.
Yeah, any
because if
kind
you
of-
say mysterious here and there, it's like, well, what does that even mean? Because you've kind of reduced the word to a point where it's not really helpful in the argument at all.
Right.
If I understand it correctly.
yes, that's exactly right.
Oh,
So you stretch
Nice.
the word all out of shape, and it means nothing anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
Another good example, Kent says, my new car is very fast. And Cal says, I doubt that it's as fast as a jet fighter, therefore it is not fast. So he's changed the definition of the word fast to mean only things as fast as this. Therefore, it eliminates the car as fast.
And a lot of these descriptors are very much relative inside the argument that you're making. So if you're gonna compare a fighter jet to a passenger jet, well, then you can say, well, the fighter jet is fast, the passenger jet not so fast. But then you can't thereby say that, well, the turtle, And so it is right. Kind of a totally different thing where these same words don't apply because you've just kind of established a meaning for it inside the context that you're talking about.
It's basically having an argument, then introducing another part into that argument that has no correlation at all.
Yeah. And that's where you kind of break down the word, and it doesn't really mean anything because it's kind of a relative meaning to what you're talking about.
According to Rational Wiki, it is also a form of a straw man argument.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there is an exception to this fallacy. So refusing to give into a false dichotomy is not falling into the fallacy of changing the definition. If Rick says, I need to know if we should stop for lunch or not, you are either hungry or not hungry, which is it? And Tina says, I'm a little bit hungry, so go ahead and stop if you are hungry, otherwise I can wait. She didn't change the definition of hungry to mean something outside of what the context of the discussion.
And then the where do you want to eat argument starts.
I don't care. Where do you want to eat?
That is the worst rabbit hole.
All right. So as
3 hours later, I wasn't even that hungry anyway. We'll just get whatever you want.
I've never actually got trapped in that rabbit hole. Because fuck it. You don't want to eat somewhere? I'll pick somewhere. The end.
I am much the same way. What's wrong? Nothing. Okay.
Okay.
You know exactly what's wrong.
Oh, all right.
See, that's where the blissfully ignorant comes in. It's like, well, nothing's wrong.
You know. You should know.
No, I have to say that because of our directness, Jen and I are really good at communicating.
It's good. It's good.
That became an episode of Dr. Phil.
I prefer it.
Yeah. I thought I was looking on. It was still on Rational Wiki. There's an interesting quote here by Stefan Molyneux. If you guys know who he is.
I always find myself watching some of his stuff and go, okay, kind of got a point, and then
nope.
Then 10 minutes later, I'm like, you're an ass.
Yeah, and somehow in that, like, it's so slow and progressive that you don't even see the hammer until it just completely falls.
It's there. Yeah. Well, his quote says, I don't view humanity as the same species because we're not all the same. This is a committing of the fallacy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because
he's changed the definition of the word humanity.
So is this just an example, or did he actually say this?
This is an actual quote.
Oh, so this is actually. Oh
wow.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, that just made my eyes cross.
So can we get this guy from Arizona? Can we get this guy to kick that guy in the chest?
That would be good. Yeah. That would be good. Somehow I don't think we'll be able to do that. All right, I think we have a bumper for the next one. Do we have bumpers for atheism? All right, let's do that bumper.
Thumbs up. We know what we're doing. We know what we have.
Totally.
If you're not daily walking in a place of relationship to God, then the news that we have to bring you is that you're on your way to hell right now.
Oh, you're barking up the wrong tree, Meg. I'm an atheist.
I suspect that the Pope is an atheist.
I don't believe in God.
So, in this Atheism for Dummies, we're covering the cosmological argument. The basic premise of this argument is that all things have a cause.
Which is true.
Everything. Okay, I'm going to break it into the 3 parts.
The universe.
Everything has either been caused to exist by something else or else exists uncaused. Not everything has been caused to exist by something else. Therefore, at least one thing itself is uncaused. This is the basic cosmological argument. This is not the Kalam's or the Thomas Aquinas argument from contingency. This is the basic cosmological argument. Somehow, these 3 premises or these 3 statements are supposed to lead you to the idea that the universe has been caused to exist, therefore God.
But then who caused God?
Well, no. That's built in there. Either it has been caused or it has not been caused. So God would be one of those things that hasn't been caused.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's basically just covering all your angles. Either this thing was caused by something or it wasn't, and since it existed, then it probably wasn't caused by anything, and therefore this thing created this thing. It's just like this argument just gets my blood boiling because it's, I don't know.
It's just wrong.
I'll just lean back away from the mic.
It's just wrong.
It bugs the fuck out of me too.
I don't know. When it comes to some of this stuff, this is where I start to go check out. I mean, this is stuff where I'm just like, this is what people have been arguing over for fucking hundreds of years. What?
And what's that famous fucker's name who argues this a lot?
William Lane Craig.
That's the guy. I listened to an hour of him.
Why?
Wow.
Well, he was it was a debate with Richard Dawkins, and he just kind of vomited the same thing every time he got a chance to speak. He would just like repeat the same thing over and over like a fucking robot.
He lasted for an hour against Dawkins.
Well, and I mean, he wasn't listening. He just had like his memorized little sound clips, and then
straight for the rope-a-dope.
Yeah, and then Dawkins would actually try and make some sense, and then he would just like come back up there and say his little thing, and
William Lane Craig prefers the Kalam cosmological argument, which changes the wording slightly. First, whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe had a cause.
No shit.
God. Christian God, actually, more specifically.
Well, yeah, it has to be the right one.
Well, yeah.
And I remember this debate that I watched. That was kind of the thing that it kind of went back and forth on. Like, that's the point that Dawkins was attacking. Like, all right, let's say, even if I concede that all the rest of it is true, how do you make that giant leap from there's something that caused it to my Lord and Savior Jesus caused it? Like, so at what point can you make that leap? How is it not like Buddha or whoever the fuck,
Brahma,
or my grandma or whoever? Like,
in the Hindu religion, Brahma was everything exists
or
within
the
Brahma.
Hoff,
or
the Hoff. That's fuck yeah.
But no, a really good parallel question is, but why male models?
It's as related as because God.
And that's where this argument totally breaks down. Like, you can just say, why your God? Because my God. Why your God? Because my God. Why your God? Because... And that's pretty much what it boils down to, because neither side can say anything else.
No.
Like, it's if you're going to entertain the idea, that's kind of what you're stuck with.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. There's also... I wrote down one more of the alternate wordings. The argument from contingency, which came from Thomas Aquinas, who is following from Aristotle, who claimed that that something must explain the existence of the universe. since the universe could, under different circumstances, conceivably not exist. And the argument goes, okay, since the universe could conceivably not exist, its existence must have a cause, not merely another contingent thing, but something that exists necessarily, something that must exist in order for everything else to exist. So something must exist that caused the other things to exist. It's still the argument from first mover, right?
Yeah.
And Aquinas therefore says, we understand this to be God.
We understand this. As in we
Did anything change in that argument at all?
But if you're walking down the beach and you see a watch,
I mean,
you're going to assume that there was a watchmaker.
And we're just going to go back into to the point where it stops with our God. Like, we're going to go as far back, the creator of this, creator of this, creator of this.
Well, there could be nothing before that.
Yeah, and that's where
nothing could have caused God to be created like another God that
and that's
created
why
the God before that. Or
that's why they start with a fallacious premise of either things were created or they were not created and they just existed. So right there,
right? You know that.
So either I'm right or I'm not. So I'm right.
Supposing I bite. Supposing that there's a first mover.
Okay.
Why can't the universe be the first mover? Why
couldn't it be a dude named Dave that died right afterwards?
What is their argument?
Well,
what is the actual argument that is made at that point?
Well, that's where the Kalam cosmological argument comes in, because the universe... No, not really. But that's what they claim. They say, okay, so whatever began to exist has a cause, right? The universe began to exist is the next premise.
By that definition, God cannot exist because he never began to exist.
Well, but therefore the universe had a cause, but...
We're arguing fallacies against fallacies.
No, you're right.
That's
you're
the
right.
thing. There is no answer.
There is no...
It is just as acceptable for the universe to be the first mover as it is for God to be the first mover.
Yeah, you're absolutely
And that's where
right.
the entire thing
Or a
falls
potato.
apart.
Could have been a potato.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, that's a very valid point. You could just as easily use the very same argument and say the Big Bang was the first mover. You could say that after, the Big Bang was the first mover and then everything else followed. And there is, in terms of logic, you could insert anything into that first thing.
Yeah.
And just claim
it still counts.
And just claim it. This is just...
I was listening to one of the new Matt Dillahunty videos today. And he made a very good point about how there's actually now some different opinions about whether or not this universe had a beginning.
Right.
Sure, okay, so maybe our universe that we know had a beginning, but what about the broader universe, or a multiverse, or what about there's
Digiverse.
There's other ideas
God.
About this, right?
Clearly, it's clearly God.
It's clearly God. So that was, yeah. So basically, that's the cosmological argument. This is one of the best that they have.
I think it was the Vogons.
It still pisses me off as much as it did before.
I hope that we all can recognize that this is just as much garbage as any
acupuncture.
other.
Wait. Is it anger or is it cognitive dissonance? Is that what you're actually suffering?
So wait a minute. If this universe is solipsistic, am I God? What was the first mover in your own existence? You don't know. There's nothing that precedes you.
Well,
to the best of your knowledge.
I
think in
let's
my
get philosophical. Let's do that.
I think in my existence, the way I understand biology, somebody had sex, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, what's your earliest memory?
Sperm.
Like mine. I went to a party with my dad and went home with my mom.
I hate you.
Your dad was the first mover. into your mom's,
Vagina.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for clearing that up.
How is this guy my best friend?
Because you're stupid.
Apparently.
And we're from Weyburn. Not like we had a lot of choice.
What's that Shakespeare quote about love being blind?
It's not
all
death,
right. So we're gonna end the show now.
Thank God.
Thanks to George and Stephanie for being new patrons. Joshua deleted his pledge, and I'm sorry that we didn't live up to your expectations. Although I'm not surprised.
To be fair, Corey deleted his own pledge. So.
Not surprised. Hopefully we can get you to come back sometime. We have an iTunes review from Brother Brewer. Gave us 5 stars.
Ooh.
He says, I am now binge listening to your show. Excellent work, ya crazy Canadians. Your show proved why Regina rhymes with fun.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did he just call us cunts?
Yep.
Probably.
Oh, shit. Okay, so we got an email from Will. I think I was supposed to read this last time, but he said he can't think of any ways to get more patrons, but as long as we keep doing what we do and make him laugh hard enough that he disturbs everyone in a 6 cubicle radius, then he'll keep listening. So I think we'll probably do okay tonight.
I'd like to know what kind of cubicle environment he lives in. Or works in. Sorry, not lives. That would be really bad if you lived in a...
It would be a little sad if you lived in a cubicle environment.
I hope you don't live in a cubicle.
I mean, that's almost kind of randy.
Daryl gave us a suggestion of Lauren from the Atheist Nomads for our next Shift Reason as a speaker. So I think that we're still figuring out what we're doing with the next Shift to Reason. Yeah. Okay, everybody else, plug your stuff. You have nothing.
I have nothing right now.
Renee
I will
has
have
nothing.
stuff to plug next show.
I have nothing.
Renee has nothing. Do you have anything to plug?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No.
Why am I
Okay,
not
Leo
plugging
has
the
nothing.
dealership?
You have a thing.
I'm an idiot.
You have a couple things.
I have a craft collective called Open Field Craft Collective. It's on Facebook. And my personal creative page is Sparkling Medusa Handmade. I'm trying to get into photography.
Very cool.
Right now I'm doing photo shoots for free because I need the practice.
Also, you have a YouTube with a speaking thing that you did.
Oh, yeah. I spoke at the Shift to Reason conference in 2016. Go check that shit out. It was good.
Is it on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
You're one of my 7 favorite speakers.
Thanks.
That's
That
pretty
was-
easy to fit into.
That was almost a compliment,
Top
you
3.
asshole.
You're in top 3.
Top 3. Wow.
And I have this. I have the Brainstorm podcast. That's what. If you're listening to this,
Corey also likes to lift things up and send them back down.
I lift things up and I put them down.
And he reviews doing that.
I review the places that I do them at.
He was having trouble finding a place to lift things up and put them down, but after much struggling, he found a place that has things for him
I found
to
a
lift
very
up and
good
put
place
down.
to lift things up
Pretty
and
soon
put them
he's
down.
going to punish Destin for all his fucking puns by
Yeah.
training him and forcing him to live heavy.
Yeah, whatever. I can deal with it.
He keeps asking me to go take him to the gym, but he doesn't quite know what that entails.
He keeps thinking it's the bar that's named the gym. That's what he's thinking it is.
It's not the same thing.
Gaim?
The Gaim.
The Gaim.
Oh, the Gaim.
All right.
Go to the gym. I like playing basketball. Red
Make
Rover.
sure to check out the website. We have very comprehensive show notes. I took 10 fucking pages of show notes this week.
I was going to say from our last episode?
No.
I mean, come on. That was crap. I mean, our
did
show was
pretty
good, but that was crap.
I got a good section of show notes for that one, even though it was terrible.
I'd like to plug Roman Empire Studios.
Oh, shit, Dave.
Dave is like the coolest sound guy ever. If you
Yeah, how
need to
about we let
record
Dave
an
plug his
album,
place?
Dave, plug your shit.
And his band, his musician,
he does all the
part-time
things.
stripper.
Very part-time.
Well, he's a dancer for money.
Am I? Oh.
We call it entrepreneurs.
Just because you pay doesn't mean everyone else does.
He dances for free for some. That's
yeah, you plug my studio. I
Roman Empire Studios.
If you want to see where all the action happens, you can come down. And I'll plug my band later, another time, because we're not really out yet.
Okay.
No, your old band.
Well, that's like a really long time
Still
ago.
good. Why haven't we ever played any of his crap? Music.
We've played Linger.
We have.
Have we? Okay.
Yeah. We've played Linger. All right. You can get bonus content, full-length and ad-free episodes, and other stuff by becoming a patron at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast, just like Daryl, Will, Rob, Nathan, Dustin, and now George and Stephanie. You can join us for the next live broadcast by following us on Spreaker. Just enter Brainstorm Podcast into the search bar, or go to our website, brainstormblog.net, and check out the live show page and the upcoming events page. I was very, very wrong about the AB Secular Conference. It is October 15th and 16th.
Oh, yeah, that's wrong, man.
Whoops.
And not September 15th and 16th. So you could still get tickets, actually. Check out their Facebook page at AB Secular Conference.
It's chock full of good speakers.
I think the Friendly Atheist is speaking.
Yep, he is.
Which is pretty fucking cool.
Oh, hey, I want to do a shout out to try to get some volunteers or some people that might be interested in helping us organize the Shift to Reason conference.
Okay.
Yes.
Always good to have more boots on the ground.
More volunteers. Remember to rate us and write a review on iTunes or Stitcher, and hit that subscribe button. If you leave a review, then let us know, and remember to tell us where you're from so we know which store to look in on iTunes. Thanks, Dave, for our intro music. Thanks, Alex Capper-Murdoch, for doing the voiceover for the intro and some of our ads. And thank you, Jason Camo, for our outro music. You can find his stuff at aloststateofmind.com. All music played is either with permission or under the SOCAN license to play. For more information on SOCAN, you can check out the music license info on our website, brainstormblog.net. T-shirts, mugs, and other cool shit is available at cafepress.ca/brainstormpodcastgear. And we love to hear from our listeners, so shoot us an email at mail@brainstormblog.net or fill out the contact page on the website. If you have a podcast or website and want a shout out or have a promo to play, let us know. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks when we have Cavan Senpathy, writer for Forbes and co-author of the book The Fear Babe, on.
Sweet.
All right.
Oh, I'm going to have some questions for Forbes, like why do I always have to keep fucking clicking next? Fucking drives me.
I don't think she's in charge of the web design.
Wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interaction sometimes with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Corey, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.